Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to share what's in my art cart. Have you ever felt like you want to be drawing, but there's just something that's coming between you and your art supplies or your sketchbook or the life you want to be living? I was sitting on the couch last week and I was just feeling tired. I was feeling like I wanted to be doing some art, but I didn't want to go downstairs in my cold studio. I just wanted to be cozy up here. I want to have everything nearby and just draw. And so I decided that I was going to make a cart where I could have my supplies right next to me. They're not my favorites. They're all kind of second stringer supplies, but there's a little bit of everything. And the thing is, I actually had all these supplies scattered here and there. I have a little desk over my corner. You can probably see it back there. I had some supplies stashed in there. I had some supplies stashed in my office, and they weren't anything I'd be missing in my studio or in my travel bag if I put them in a little cart in here. But this way, having them in a rolly cart, I can roll them on down to the office if I want to use them there. I can roll them over to the couch if I want to use them there. I can take them out to the porch, take the whole cart out to the porch if I want to paint out there. And it just gave me that frictionless ability to sketch and draw. So within 30 seconds, I can have a sketchbook open on my lap. I can have my watercolors or gouache or pencils just right there and ready to go. I could do this while I'm visiting with family. I can do that while if somebody else is watching TV and I just want to hang out in the same room with them. And it took the friction away. So today I'm going to show you what's in my cart to maybe help spark some imagination about what you might want to put in yours. It doesn't have to be a cart. It could be a box or basket, a shoebox. Something you can tuck underneath your coffee table or behind your couch. Just something to make artwork easy, and so that you don't have to keep getting up and going and finding something else. So you have everything you need right to hand so that you can do some sketching or some painting in those bits of time that are otherwise wasted. Because I don't know about you, but I can lose hours in the evening and then I have nothing to show for it. Maybe I spent time scrolling on my phone or watching television. I can watch TV while I paint. I can listen to an audiobook while I paint. I can do all these things while painting, and it just makes my life a little bit richer, and hopefully it'll inspire you to make yours a little richer too. So why don't we move this around in front of me a bit. Now this doesn't roll as great on carpet as it would on say hard floor, but it will work. And I'm just going to tip this down so you can see in there. All right, hopefully it doesn't fall. Hopefully no cat or dog comes by and turns it asunder. But let's go over what we have here. So in the top, I have flat things. Now I could put a board over this if I wanted to. I haven't yet, but I mean, if I wanted to, I could put a little board on there and even throw a tablecloth over it if I wanted to hide it. But I don't think it's unsightly. To me, it's beautiful. And in the top, I have some jelly gouache. Now check this out. This is the Himi gouache. Now Himi gouache is not my favorite. It's not even my favorite of the jelly gouaches, but what I like about this set is that it's got a white mixing palette and it's got a lot of colors in here. So instead of 24 colors, or maybe instead of 18 colors, they're split, so you've got 36 colors. And they've started to dry out on me, which is actually a benefit for painting in a living room. I don't have to worry about spills. I give it a spray before I go to paint it, and I kind of use it like watercolor. It's opaque enough to work in a sketchbook. Are they my favorite? No. Are they the best quality? No. Will they work for what I want to do in a sketchbook? Absolutely. And there's even a spot to throw some brushes in, which is really nice. And I can just spray that with water and wipe it off when I'm done, or just leave it there if I think I'll use the colors again. And it lashes, so even if this was to tip over, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to get away. Nothing's going to stain or spill. I have this tin here, which is a tin that I repurposed to put in some pans of Da Vinci watercolors. And this is not a second stringer supply. I would consider this a pretty, top-notch supply, but I don't have to worry about using any of them up because I have the tubes downstairs. I can refill them as needed. And I have my little swatch right here. And then if I'm painting, what I'll do is take the swatch and just clip it to the edge of my my cart here. And that way I can see what my colors are. Because with watercolors, sometimes they're dark and you can't tell what's in them. And I can see what they are and I can paint, and it works out great. I also have a swatch card for my gouache. I've got a paper towel. I've got the swatch card for my acrylic markers. I'm just leaving those in that top area because it works. It's right there. I don't have to worry about it. And whenever I have a paper towel, like I've maybe washed an apple, and you get the paper towel, I'll just let it dry and I'll put it in here and I'll use it. I've got a thing of watercolor brushes right here. These, oops, upside down. These are my Artigria watercolor brushes. I think they're a really great option. They run around $25 for a set of 10 watercolor brushes, and they are just really wonderful for that. And I have a video on this. I took a rubber band and a pencil and I just rubber banded them to a pencil so the pencil extends past. So if this does get tipped upside down, then the pencil will keep the bristles from hitting the top. I did throw these little quills in there. They should be in the rubber band too, but I'll get to that. We're not filming the video, so I don't have to waste your time. Okay, I have this little date stamp, and this is really fun to just stamp on a sketchbook page after you've finished drawing it. That way you know when you did it. And it's quirky. I just bought it. I used to have one, but it ran out like the year, like the last year I think was 2000. Maybe before that. I used it for scrapbooking, and then I don't know what happened to it. I think I probably got rid of it because the dates had run out. So I just bought this one on Amazon, and it goes for a long while. I don't know when it runs out, but not for a long time, because I think 2025 is like the first year on it. So it's XL mark. I'll find the order and I'll link it up. But it does a really small little date, and it's really crisp. So it works great. And then I've got this divided porcelain Meeden brush washer there. I like it because it's not going to tip, and I just don't fill it all the way so that when I roll it around it doesn't splash over the edge. If I do need to fill it all the way, I can. I just would want to take it up and dump it out and not leave it full in there if I'm going to be rolling it around. So that is the top level. In the next level, like the same, even with everything standing up, I could put a piece of plywood across, and I could use it as a workspace that way too. But I just leave it open. It's so handy. I usually work with a pillow on my lap and my sketchbook on the pillow. So in the next tier down, I've got a spray bottle of water. This was just a recycled bottle from lens cleaner. I think it had eyeglass lens cleaner. This is really handy. I've got this little pouch here with a bunch of random stuff in it. This is actually one of the Christy Rice pouches, and I have her Taklon brushes in there, and I use those for gouache mostly, but I can use it for watercolor as well, but I prefer them for gouache. I've got one of the Hindi brushes in there too. I've got a pencil sharpener with, it's got the big and the small hole, and it's got a little catcher in there, so I don't have to I don't have to find something to sharpen my pencils into, and then I can just empty it when I'm done for the day. So you don't have, the thing is, I want to minimize the getting up and getting down when I'm in the groove, because, hey, yeah, we all should move more. I know. I definitely should move more. I should get more exercise, but let's be honest. When you're working on a sketchbook layout, you don't want to have to be getting up every 5 minutes because you forgot a supply. You want to just be able to cozy in, get your blankies, get all comfy, put a show on, or put some music on, and you want to create without having to stop and start all the time. Because it's things like that that overwhelm you and that make you think, ugh, if I have to get up and get that, I'm not even going to bother. It's friction. We want to remove the friction. That's why it's so easy to scroll on our phone for hours, because there's no friction and we get little rewards. This is our sketchbook. What we make in our sketchbook is our reward. So let that, and where were they going? Yeah. So if we remove the friction and make it easy to do our art as it is to scroll on our phone, then we'll do more art. I have a little plastic eraser here, and I have a kneaded eraser here, and I've got a little bit of cut up credit card for scraping when I want to do that. And I also have a paper towel in there for some reason, because I'm always saving those paper towels. I've got a little brush cup here. This is actually one I made, and in it I've got some just fountain pens. These are cheapo fountain pens. You get like 16 for $10 on Amazon. They're Zizon, I think, is the brand. I've used them in tutorials before if you want to see, but what I like to do is sketch with these and then take a wet brush and spread the ink out a bit, and sometimes I'll use them over gouache and over watercolor, although they do tend to not love writing over gouache or watercolor crayons or anything, so they kind of have to be your first layer if you want the best use out of them, but they're really fun. I've got some waterproof fine liners in here. It's an Ohuhu set that's got probably like 8 black ones that you can, with different nibs, like a brush all the way down to a 0.5, 0.1. No, it's probably down to a 0.1 or 0.005 or something. 0.1 maybe. No, there's a 0.005. That's the littlest, and a brush is the biggest. And then it also came with colored fine liners, waterproof fine liners, just with your basic colors. So I threw those in there. Got a mechanical pencil, and I also have some refill leads for that mechanical pencil, because I don't need to have a full set of pencils one pencil, I can smudge it out just fine. I tend to want to work in color anyway, so that works out well. I have a flat compass for drawing circles and little straight edges and stuff. I got a little pair of scissors. And for some reason I got this little rando watercolor brush. This is from my set with Craft Ammo. It's a cat's tongue, I really like it. I have several sets of these from different iterations, different prototypes that I had to approve. So I've got random ones of these that I don't know were in the final, or anyways, you get sent different prototypes. This I think was one of the final ones, but that's in there. Probably because it's a very useful brush. I don't know what happened to the other ones that were in there with it, but there we are. It's mystery. It's a mystery. I got this little template. This is one I got. There was a pack of 4 on Amazon. I think it was about $6, but I wanted several of these because I had I still do, actually. I just found it recently. I had a circle template and I used it all the time. It was from like, is it Westcott or the See-Through Company? It's one you see in like Staples. I used it all the time and then I lost it, couldn't find it. So when I saw this circle template and I saw there were 4 of them, I snagged it because then I've got, I can draw straight edges, I can measure things in centimeters, and I have the little circles I can make, which needing a small circle happens more often than you would think. And I've got that in here. And I've got one of these in like every workspace that I have. I've got this set of Ohuhu brush pens, acrylic brush markers. Now there's only 24 colors here, and I thought maybe I'd want a bigger set, but this is really sufficient. This is great for like you're doing a mixed media piece and you just need to add some pops of color on top. You need something opaque. These are not like 100% opaque. I'd say they're probably like 70 to 80% opaque, but honestly, it does the trick. It does the trick, and it's not that big and cumbersome. Then I have I've got a glasses case, which I don't think there's glasses in it at the moment. Oh, there are. Okay, so these glasses, let me show you. Watch me turn from a hip young thing into a 75-year-old librarian. Look at that. But they're my first pair from when I went from needing regular single vision glasses to needing like a progressive or bifocal. I cheaped out at the eye doctor. I'm like, I'll get the bifocals. My insurance will cover that. I'm just going to have them for working in my studio. I don't need to look like I'm going to a fashion show. I don't like progressives. I don't like bifocals. I like to have reading glasses when I'm painting, and I like to have, well, I wear my progressives when I'm driving or doing other things like that. They're elsewhere. I think I left them upstairs when I put my makeup on. My eyesight isn't bad enough that I need to wear glasses all the time. But then I ordered some progressives off Zenny with the anti-glare, and that is nice for driving. But if I'm doing artwork, honestly, I want my reading glasses, but these are here in the cart for if I don't have them within reach and I don't feel like getting up and finding them. I can put these on, and since the eye doctor did measure to make sure everything was in the right place, like the vision fields are in the right place, I can actually work in the sketchbook pretty easily with these. It's not bad. This is what I started off with when I had my eyes checked, because I could tell my vision was changing. And then after using these, I'm like, I want the full field of that reading glasses length, and I ordered some prescription reading glasses and then progressives. So yeah, I actually have 2 pairs of progressives now, but these live in here because better than nothing, right? Second stringers. I have a set of Artex color pencils here. They are fairly similar to Prismacolor. I've got the 126 set, and they're not quite as soft and not quite as opaque as Prismacolor, but honestly, they're not bad. And I'll do like kind of sketching under, if I'm going to do alcohol marker, I'll sketch with these first. I'll add like veils and shading of color with these. As you can see, they're not very worn down, so I haven't used them a ton. I'm not doing full pieces with these, although you could. It almost feels like their first set was a little bit softer than these, but I don't know, maybe it's just certain colors. It's really hard to say. But they're in here. They do just fine. They do fine for what I need them to do, and I like the case because it's compact and I can reach in there and get whatever pencil I want out, and I don't have to take the whole thing of pencils out. So space saving, I really like that. This is a swatch for my watercolor pencils. Actually, I'm going to put them with these swatches up here because that just gets in the way. And these are the Artex watercolor pencils. They're tipped down. I can tell them apart really easily, and they're great. They're actually quite pigmented and quite lovely for sketching. All this stuff is going in a sketchbook, so I'm not worried about light fastness. It doesn't really matter to me for this in my sketchbook. Especially since I'm trying to finish up sketchbooks that I've started, and I want to finish them up, and then I'll kind of add it as I remove a sketchbook. I'll add another one in and finish them up. These are actually not really second stringers. I like my Neocolor 2s the best as far as watercolor crayons, and I was going to take my eye crayon ones that I've recently reviewed, and I was going to break them in half, and because I have 2 tins of them, I was going to break them in half and then put one set in one tin, one set in another tin, so I had a full 50 color thing, like 2 tins of them. But then I realized, oh yes, this was an impulse purchase because the deal, I knew I liked these. I had a set of 24. I love taking them to classes and teaching with them, and the set of 48 had gone down to like, it was either $40 or $50 on Amazon, and I snagged them, and I have no regrets. I've done a few paintings with them already, and they're wonderful. I knew they were because I've used them before, but they're not, I don't think they're quite as pigmented as Neocolor 2s, but they're darn close. They're maybe just not quite as opaque as Neocolor 2s. I don't know, I like them though, and that's what they look like, and I use them quite a bit, even though they barely look worn, but they are new. They are fairly new. I've only done like a couple paintings using them, and I tend to mix media stuff too, but these are on here, and I like these cardboard sleeves because it keeps them from falling open when I have them in the cart. Hey Penny, Penny the pupper, hello little one, what is up? Put that back in there. And then on the bottom I have all the random sketchbooks that have accumulated on this level of the house. This one here is a Hanamulla toned tan sketchbook. This is the first sketch I did at this new setting here, and I had a grand old time doing that Easter sketch, and that was from the Food Paint Challenge last week, or from when I'm filming. This one is from I saved a cutting from a Sam's Club flyer, and they were advertising lemonade, and I'm like, oh, I'll sketch that. That looks fun. I did that with the crayons, and I like to do my swatches over here. I'll draw it in a square format so I can share it on Instagram, and then I'll do my swatches over here because I think that looks cool, and that's what the little stamp looks like if you're curious. I don't know if that's picking up on camera, but I did smudge it. That was me, not the stamp. Here's a better look at it. So this is toned. Watercolor paper. It's toned beige, but I use it a lot for gouache. Little sketchbook tour. Oh, that was with the Gansai Tambi watercolors. I loved that. That's a church down the street from me, and they were raising money to do a new steeple. But I love the way the old steeple looks, so I took a photo of it before they tore it down. Little bird. I can't remember. I think those were Cezanne colored pencils. I think I did Cezanne colored pencils. No, Starjoy. That was the Starjoy Deli. So not really the Starjoy pencils. They were sold by Starjoy, but they were the Deli pencils, which is a different stationery company. And then I was comparing it to Polychromos because they were quite similar. Back in the day when we used to do all the, try to find the dupes and stuff. That was years ago. I don't know. When did I start this book? I wish I dated it. It's been a while. I was doing some plein air painting with gouache. It was a hot mess. I was out in this field by some trails overlooking some beautiful vistas, and it was bad. Look, it was so bad that page just I obliterated it. But yeah, it's and I used this to do some of the 30 days to better painting projects. But anyway, it's a neat little sketchbook. It's fine. It's kind of thin, so I only want to use one side of the paper, but I do want to finish it up and get on with my life, basically. So anyway, there's that. This right here, I can actually grab this and go at any point where I just want to have something quick and easy to run out the door with. And this is my Viviva Color Sheets folio set. I love these. You can still get them. You can get them on Amazon or Viviva.com. I'll try to think to put a link down below because I think I might have a discount code for Viviva.com, which might be cheaper than Amazon. I think even Blick carries these now. But it comes with a pen, it comes with a sketchbook, which this is the second sketchbook I've had for this, and it's, how full is it? It's, I've got a few pages left, but it's the second sketchbook. You can get the refills for the sketchbook. It's got a little pen, it's got a water brush, and it's got these little watercolors. They're in a little sheet. And I also have a little pad of watercolor paper in here, and I've got cloth in this little CD envelope that I cut a little window in so I could open it up and wipe my water brush on it. So, and I've got a little laminated card that I use for a palette too. So that's handy. I can just grab this and go out the door, and you know, somebody calls me, hey Lindsay, you want to go kayaking and paint? And I'd be like, yeah, I do. And I just grab this and out the door I go. I sound like such a free spirit. I'm really not that free. I wish I was that free of a spirit person. Maybe I will be now. Call me. Maybe I'll meet you with my kayak and my sketchbook. This sketchbook here is a marker sketchpad. This is by Sketch Marker. I don't know if you can get these anymore. But they are, it's just it's a sketchbook. I've used this for a few years doing Inktober. This is one of my favorites. I love that one. I don't know if it's gonna reflect. There's probably a lot of reflection. This is very smooth paper, so I'm sure the light's reflecting on it. But I did this one here. If I know I'm gonna be using alcohol markers for the majority, I'll start with this. But I did that also this Easter using this cart here. So works great. It's working great. So I've got that watercolor. These both have kind of watercolory papers in it. This is a marker paper. This is a mixed media paper. Well, it's actually a watercolor paper, but the sizing is probably started to go on this. I don't know. I haven't sketched in this one in years. So I grabbed it and stuck it in there. I have a few pages left, but it's great for pen and ink and for watercolor. This is, yeah, some of these are really old. 2021, some old watercolor month stuff from 2021 in here. Man, moldy oldies. Moldy oldies, some swatches. But yeah, I want to finish these up, and then I'll just weave in other ones as I get to it. And little this is in the marker book. I just cut down a one of the sheets that come with your like Ohuhu markers. I cut it to this size so that I could put it behind the pages so I don't bleed onto the next page with my markers. On its side, I've got this set of Ohuhu markers from Michaels. Michaels sells the ones in this box. Honestly, I don't think I like these cases very much, and what I could do is actually I like the case. That's a lie. I like the case, but these flaps when I close, when I'm working with it, I generally will put this on the couch next to me and be able to just reach in and see what I have. I store it on its side to keep both sides inked up, but I could take this centerpiece out if I wanted to and just have that in the cart and just be able to see everything. So I might do that at one point, but I also like being able to close it up and then tip it on its side to make sure that the markers stay well inked on both ends. This is the, oh, also the reason I want to do that is because this one right here is the Honolulu Beast set of 120 from Michaels, because it's got the fine tip and the brush tip. And I like to use both of those. If you knew you only wanted to use like the brush tip and you had the brush and chisel one, just having the brush tip down would make sense. But yeah, I'm leaving it in here just so I don't dump all the markers out, and I can tip it on its side without worrying about dumping the markers out. But I find this actually, this set's 120 set of Ohuhu markers available at Michaels. It's a different set than the 120 set online. I don't know how they differ exactly, but I think this is a really nice range of colors. And when I'm sitting here working in my sketchbook, I don't want for any other colors. This has everything I need for pretty much everything I'm gonna do. I think it runs around 120 bucks, maybe 130 bucks, but they all wait for a coupon, wait for a 40% off coupon and hope it's not on sale and you can get it for a discount. As long as you can still get them, because who knows what's going to go on with all the tariffs and stuff. But and this right here, I'm not sure if this is going to stay in this cart or not, but I had it upstairs, so I just threw it in here. The reason I had this upstairs is because these pens you could put in the Lock Click die cutter I have if you wanted to draw designs for you. Like maybe you wanted to draw the word happy birthday and then you want to cut around the happy birthday. Like I could put any of these pens in and it will do the drawing portion for me. Have I done that? No. But I did notice because the pen that came with the machine was this exact same make, and I can do that. But actually I threw them in this cart and I've used them in almost every sketch just to like add a detail or boost up a color or something. These are just water-based markers. I've also used them to outline my alcohol marker art on top of the marker art. You can actually sketch with these and then do alcohol markers over, and they're not going to bleed because they're water-based markers, so they don't interact with each other. So since I've used it in like every sketch, it's like, well, I might as well leave them in there. And so this is also kind of nice if you've got a supply that you're not using. Put it in your basket, put it in your art basket or your art cart. If that's what you have available, you'll find a way to use it, because your laziness is the mother of invention. Okay, I gotta turn this. I feel like I look like a hobo, a gremlin just crouched on the floor like, my precious, my precious. Yeah, well, I'm not used to filming in here. This is majorly awkward. What are we doing? I don't know. Anyway, why am I down here? Anyway, that's all I have for you. I hope you found this inspiring. Yeah, this is a great way to, like, you've got a new set of pencils, you've got something that you just can't seem to get into the rotation for creativity. Throw it in your art cart, and then the next time you're sitting down, being a lazy bum like me every night, you can, instead of just being a lazy bum, you can multitask. You can be a couch potato, and you can also make art. So, hey, I'm gonna put it out there. I am not perfect. If I was perfect, I would march my little tushy down to my studio and make some proper art on a canvas with proper materials. But no, I'm lazy, and I just want to veg on the couch sometimes and work in a sketchbook. So remove the friction, friends. You'll make more art. I hope you found this inspiring. I hope this lights a fire under you and you pull your art supplies together. And you know what you could also use? You could use a drawer. Do you have a little end table in your living room? Can you take a drawer that's right by where you sit on the couch? Take that drawer that you could take right out of your end table, plop it onto the couch next to you. Work from that. Find some way that you can make it frictionless to create your art, and you will do your art instead of scrolling your phone, maybe some of the time. Hey, we're all a work in progress, right? Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you like little videos like this, little random slices of life, I guess, in my living room. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, as always, happy crafting. Bye.